I'm gonna write this shit. Monte, thinking he can do whatever the fuck he want to do. Come on, bitch. Come on. Rain and shit. Hello. Yes, it's the bitch alive. She's alive and well. Put out for me. I'm doing love readings. Anybody need a reading? You need a book one by donation. I need donations. They're trying to make me have sex for my money with fucking rapists. People who are raping my children. People who are raping my sister's children. My nephew is died, has been killed. Okay, and they are sending me around people who are fucking disrespecting me, who set it up for him to be killed by the local authorities, giving authorization to do this. My own boyfriend is raping kids in my family. The bitch sitting right here. Okay, he is prostituting me. Okay, I don't give a fuck. Everybody finna die, and I need help from my subscribers. I did not want to do this type of work, sex work. I started YouTube channels. I'm starting stuff to get out of this. They're trying to trap me in this. I need some help. The government want me to go crazy because I'm surrounded around predators and child molesters that are raping my own fucking kids in my family. And they all finna die. I'm gonna keep telling y'all motherfuckers. Every rapist you said in here will be fucking dead. Anybody who fucking knows that my children are fucking being raped and not telling me, bitch, your ass will fucking die in jail. Anybody fucking frauded me, stole from me, trying to steal from me, your ass will be motherfucking dead. Suck my dick. I don't have, bitch. Y'all love sucking dick anyway, bitch. Y'all men attacking me as a bunch of gay ass dick suckers. Bitch, that want to steal my motherfucking money, my motherfucking power, and your hoes finna be dead, bitch, for letting you rape their goddamn children, bitch. I'll never let a bitch rape mine. Y'all motherfuckers finna die. They ain't tell you. My kids know that. Oh, they know, bitch. And I'm just sitting waiting to see how many I can kill in one motherfucking day. I'm mad these bitches ain't dropping dead in front of my face, bitch. That's what I really want. But God ain't gonna do that to me. He don't want me suffering no more trauma than I already went through. This nigga trying to steal my money, go give it to a raper asshole. Or go get high off my shit. And bitch, when I tell you, I can't wait till his ass is dead. The same way he feel about me. Or these fuck niggas gonna kill him. That's what I need to write, bitch. Y'all niggas need to kill each other, bitch. Like that. his fucking family stealing from me and shit, bitch. Disrespecting the fuck out of me every fucking day. I have to pay for this bitch to disrespect me and rape kids. With the whole fucking community. They giving them AIDS and shit. Fucking crackhead motherfuckers. Trying to rape my children all day. Raping the fuck out of my niece. A little kid. I ain't gonna get angry, I'm gonna get even, bitch. Y'all can be mad at your motherfucking life, bitch. That you so fucking unpleased with. As you wanted me to be, bitch. Well, go around, come around, you motherfuckers. And how happy you thought you was gonna be raping motherfucking kids, bitch. Y'all finna get raped in jail just like these kids. The kids in jail, bitch. Psycho ass motherfuckers in my motherfucking life torment me while you go rape my motherfucking niece every day and other bitches' kids who will motherfucking let you, bitch. Thinking you finna walk your ass the fuck out of this, bitch. Talking about he taking lifts home and shit. You can go fuck them children all motherfucking night, bitch. And you ain't gonna never amount to shit doing it. So why in the fuck are you doing that? Sick in your fucking head, junkie motherfucker. A junkie motherfucker. Bitch, like his mammy. Who promotes him doing this shit because she a junkie motherfucker. Who had a whole heap of kids so she can turn them into rapists. Just like her. And fucking sell them. They don't know nothing but dick and pussy. And being fake as fuck. And stealing. Everything a fucking lie about them. Minimum wage assholes. I understand this shit. This hoe had a son went to college to do something with his life, and this bitch is so persistent on making him rape these motherfucking kids. Instead. His whole fucking family doing it. They want to be just like him, so all of them raping kids. Finna go to prison. Weird as fuck. Probably want to kill themselves every fucking day. I don't care how much you fuck, drink, or drug, bitch. You ain't shit but a rapist. How about we cut all that shit the fuck out? Because none of it need to go. None of it. No, none of it need to go together, bitch. Just so they can stay in their grandma house in the backyard, bitch. Having a party with each other so they can fuck each other later. They fuck each other. Oh, factual, bitch. I know. Incest like a motherfucker. They get it from their mammy. Bitch, I know. They uncle talk too motherfucking much. Bitch, I know. The fuck, that nigga get drunk and go to running his motherfucking mouth. And them kids talk too much. Keisha, your kids talk too motherfucking much. Just like your ass. Dumb as fuck, running your goddamn mouth. Exploiting everything that you're not supposed to. To me. Because I'm not a slow bitch. And I can pick up everything you crackheads is mentioning. I know the dope game too, bitch. So I know when a junkie is excited about nothing. Too bad. Y'all on the other end. Too bad. Goddamn children gonna forever be retarded. Cause bitch, they done did this. They ain't gonna never be right. Foolish deaths. Y'all dumb as fuck. No mercy. Fuck that shit. This nigga think he can talk crazy to me while doing all this dumbass shit. Y'all better get this bitch in the jail. Joe Biden. I don't know why y'all ain't listening to me about this shit. This motherfucker is not finna drive me crazy. This bitch finna drive all y'all to die. That's all the fuck he finna do. Every day, bitch. Looking like a fucking dried out rapist. Every goddamn day. Telling another bitch what the fuck they ain't doing properly. Why he can't wait to rape kids. Child. Trying to block a bitch from something, and bitch, you is blocked from everything you was meant to have. I keep building, Mo. He don't gotta fuck with me, bitch. I create ways for new people to fuck with me every goddamn day. It's so big, I gotta get him to fucking assist some of the shit. The fuck? They trying to cheat me, bitch. Y'all gonna die, all you niggas. All you niggas, I got the pistol, bitch. I'm aiming at you, bitch. It hit you. Bitch, bam. Right on your motherfucking ass, nigga. Niggas gotta move when I move, bitch. They really work for me. Cause all of them, they finna have to pay me with their fucking head and they dick, bitch. Fuck that money, nigga. Fuck that money, nigga. We need what you thought you had, bitch. In the first place, bitch. We finna knock the niggas' heads off first. Then we gonna take their dick with us. Alright? That's what the fuck we finna do. Castrated and decapitated. Niggas is gone. Anybody want a book of love, read it out here right here, cause we need a put a little love in your heart. In the world, hey, would be a better place. World, hey, would be a better place for you, what for me. I'm finna get rid of this boy. That bitch raping my niece all the time, nigga. He fuck with that whole Irene bitch, whoever the fuck Irene is, bitch. That hoe said she watched me and he's my ex and he is this and that, bitch. And she wanna be my friend. But bitch, you is letting this nigga rape your motherfucking son, hoe. This nigga gay too. In the world. And I'm just being honest, and I need somebody to talk to about it, and I'm praying to God about it, and I'm opening up the gates for other people who going through this shit, who don't understand that why they're going crazy in their own motherfucking vicinity of whatever the fuck they try to create. These motherfuckers is right here trying to harvest off a bitch doing rituals. All motherfucking bitches did a ritual against me is motherfucking dead, bitch. I talk about for the motherfucking talk to the body of niggas dead, bitch. I don't give a fuck about these niggas fucked up heads, bitch. I was a reefer. Y'all ever just want a bag of weed? Fuck that. Bitch, I fuck these niggas with a bag of weed, bitch. But for real, when I tell you, fuck them over, bitch. They gonna die. I'm just thinking, like, I don't care who think I'm crazy, bitch. This crazy ass shit around me, bitch, I swear I'm gonna get some crazy ass results. Bitch, y'all gonna be, okay. Okay, I know this shit real, man. I can't believe this shit, bitch. I ain't got no heart. They got no heart for these niggas, bitch. These niggas around here playing me, bitch. I swear every day they gonna be close to the death. Bitch, as I thrive, nigga. Ah! Put that shit on your mind, body, and your soul. Have your ass dead, bitch. Right there. All you taught me is dead. I'm gonna smoke a pound by the time it's over with. It was dead, bitch. This nigga got nerve, bitch. I don't know why the fuck they raised him like this. Because I tell you, he is finna be the reason every bitch dropped dead over there in that motherfucking family, bitch. God gonna let him see everybody else die slowly first. But it ain't really slow though. Shit repeatedly like a motherfucker. I wish it on them because they sent it to me. Bitch, what you thought you was gonna get? Where is my motherfucking niece, bitch? Y'all moving around. What y'all doing? They done took all my inheritances. Bitch, my daddy finna kill every last one of motherfucking y'all. Motherfucker, bitch. You understand me? You crackheaded ass dick suckers. Bitch, David Henderson Jr. did not play out me, honey. Bitch, that nigga finna kill y'all motherfuckers, bitch. With your dick out, you will die. Ta 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 ta. Bitch, I'm not playing, dog. What y'all think the fuck this is, man? I want to bite you niggas' dicks off right now, bitch. I swear to God, I can taste the blood dripping through the creases of my motherfucking teeth. I can spit on that motherfucker before I do it. Bitch. Fuck everybody that thought they tried me, bitch. I don't give a fuck what a nigga talking about, bitch. I swear, bitch. I swear. I want your mama's dead, bitch. That motherfucking daddies, bitch. I don't give a fuck about your grandmammies, hoe. Bitch, I swear to God, them hoes get knocked off. Fuck you mean, bitch. I wish the same fate for anybody, bitch, that wish some shit for me, bitch. And whether it's a lesson or a blessing, bitch, I'm gonna give it to your fuck ass, bitch. You finna get it now. Don't you hesitate with me to do shit, bitch. Show me what you got. Cause, bitch, I promise you, I'm gonna empty that motherfucking whole thing on your ass. By the time it's over with, bitch, I'll be the only one there with everything, bitch, left for me. Whatever the fuck I want to savage is mine. These bitches is finna die. Every motherfucking one of them, bitch. I done made it past whatever date they gave me. I don't give a fuck, bitch. I always been chose last by these higher authority motherfuckers because of my motherfucking bravery and my attitude, my strength and my attitude, bitch. That shit sharp your ass, nigga. These motherfuckers can't handle who the fuck I am, and I wasn't born for them to handle that shit, bitch. The only thing they finna have to handle is dying, bitch. That's the only thing they gonna have to handle. Don't worry about nothing else, bitch. I got it. Everything covered. Put everything on that. Bitch, I don't give a fuck about a bitch that tried me. And if I did have any love for you to start with, bitch, by the time I am done, you gonna see how much I really fucking love you. Bitch, I always said I could either be passionate about fucking a bitch up, or I could be really passionate, like, in taking care of you, nurturing you, and loving you. Bitch, I don't give a fuck which one do you want to choose. At the end of the day, I'm going to fuck in rocking hard. The hardest, bitch. You don't motherfucking find bitch rougher than this. I'm rough. I like being rough, bitch. That shit is really, really prominent for me. Bitch, that shit gets shit done. Okay, bitch. I like to be gentle to the right shit, bitch. But we don't need much of that. Bitch, the world already taken care of. Please believe it. Like I told this stupid asshole yesterday when I walked from the store. And I said, God, protect the children. That hoe had about 5 of them, bitch, in the back seat. I think I know that hoe. I think that hoe you tried to take my ex-boyfriend, bitch. And I ain't give a fuck because that nigga still want me. Oh, and she ended up having a baby from like his cousin or all the motherfucking kids from his ass. So she ain't want him. They went to fraud taxes for years, bitch. They been frauding the shit out of my taxes. I ain't claimed them in years. Bitch, I know y'all hoes been fucking with that and I been letting y'all. Cause I always do one day I get up and I would just lock everybody the fuck up. Yeah, you see the wizardry in my hair? I always had gray hair, bitch. You hoes will learn to understand. I'm patient with this shit, bitch. Da 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 da. Bitch, what? Man, come on, dog. I always knew I'd wake up one day. I used to tell my granddaddy, OG, that I would be on the news for something good, great for the whole community. I used to tell him that all the fucking time. Granddad, one day, I'm going to be on the news for doing something for everybody. I just want to do something for everybody. I used to tell him it. Because my auntie, she made the news and it was bad. And I remember the look on his face because I was standing there when it came on the news. And I remember the look on his face, and I promised myself, and I promised my family that one day I would come back for us and make the news for something great. Because I love my auntie so much, and I knew that that wasn't who she was trying to be. And they tried to program me to be the same. And when I tell you, bitch, I pay for oatmeal, the screen just glitched. She here. Bitch, y'all finna pay for that. Y'all finna pay for that. Bitch, my auntie was 37 when she... I believe my granddaddy sacrificed. I believe he's sacrificing all his children. I believe I don't give a fuck. Just taught that nigga today. Done told that nigga, bitch, I had any nigga head on these kids. My own granddaddy, bitch, I never, ever, 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 ever lie to him. Stack. Book of truth, bitch. Stack that up, though. I never lie to him. Count it up. For him. Stack. I gotta hit my hand, bitch, I swear. Every hit, nigga getting jaw. Stack. For him. Nigga getting jaw. Nigga grease, boy. This there bleed, bitch. Motherfucker. Every motherfucker. I can't wait to beat you hoes. At everything, bitch. Fuck you mean, nigga? I'm talking about you ass niggas. I'm talking about all you niggas. Bitch, I'm ready to get up right now, bitch. I want to see who bottom row, bitch. Who bottom lip will bleed first, pussy asshole. Bitch, I watch I swing on your ass. Watch how I swing on your ass, bro. I'm really looking at my sister and I'm looking at Brittany, bitch. Watch how I swing on your ass, bitch, and knock that blood in the front of your goddamn teeth, bro. Bitch. As I remember, I'm a motherfucking Tisdale, bitch. Watch how I motherfucking take your goddamn bottom lip, bitch, and beat that bitch in, bitch. Bite that motherfucker off, bitch. You better ask my motherfucking baby daddy, bitch. The nigga almost want to have a face right now. Nigga want to have a motherfucking face right now. You see this cut on me, bitch? Y'all see that motherfucker? You think I gave a fuck if the nigga had a face? He lucky, boy. I do give a fuck. See? That you hoes get an inch of that, bitch. I've changed. This coochie ass nigga think a bitch won't deface. I don't give a fuck about that, cause bitch, I been through that. 1,000,000 times, bruh. 1,000,000 times, bruh. I'ma make it through all of them, my nigga. Do y'all care about y'all face? Ho. God made sure I got out of that. Bitch, look how sharp that is. It's numb to the day. I can't even feel that. I can't even feel none of that. See what I'm saying? I can't even feel none of my face right now. I've been walking around like that for about 15, 16 years now. Me and my baby daddy is fine. This shit happened 15, 16 years ago. We straight. That nigga been apologizing for 15, 16 years. Every time. We straight. We was straight shortly after. Bitch, the baby was born right after that. Beautiful as she is. Yes, she is. My little kitten. That's my little Egyptian kitten. I really think she's like Moroccan. I believe my daughter has Moroccan and I don't know her. Like for real. I gotta watch her little gypsy ass. I'm gonna tell her ass up. Shut the fuck up about my kids. Don't fucking mention nothing on your breath, your motherfucking home. Nigga probably think about fucking them right now. Nasty bitch. That nigga dead. Everything about the nigga done died. Whether he want to admit that or not. Bitch, everybody know. Y'all, they'll be the same. Unless I wish for them to be greater. Bitch, don't play with me. That motherfucker in the fight by force, nigga. I'm going to get finer with time, bitch. I ain't worried about it. I'm releasing all evil tied to me. To death. Now smash me head, mash me head, I'm gonna kill all you motherfuckers. Right now. Kill a motherfucker right now. Kill a motherfucker right now. Kill a motherfucker right now. Gotta kill a motherfucker right now. Niggas know. They dead, bitch. I'm telling you, steady holding on to it. What you doing? Being a dumb bitch. What you doing the dumb shit? Fucking with kids, nigga. Just to get a motherfucking couple dollars. Bitch, your ass ain't came out your grandmammy shit ever, bitch. Neither has that nigga Corey, bitch. Fuck you niggas that think y'all did anything off of a bitch DNA for some shit. Bitch, I swear you fuck niggas is fucking faggots and you fired and you fucking dead. All of that and above. Bitch, you gonna die junkie. Junkie stunting, nigga. Foolish death, just like them motherfucking cars just said. You and you dumb assholes, you niggas and you dumb assholes that allowed these niggas to rape motherfucking children and protect them what the fuck they did instead of standing up and doing the most honorable, righteous thing, which is for the children. Being brave for them. Big sloppy ass childish motherfuckers. I don't trust nobody childish. I think they'll abuse children. They'll motherfucking taunt them, harass them, abuse them, and fucking rape them. I don't trust a nigga that make fucking sound effects when they eat because I think he a dick sucker. I really do. Stupid ass nigga. Fucking weird ass bitch. You almost drunk. Don't drink, child. That shit fuck up your insides. You can smoke because you can walk, and that shit will sweat out. That goddamn drinking, that shit sit in that motherfucker. And it burn your shit. Oh, mother, it really burn your shit. I'd rather deal with ash. And you could sweat. You could detox that smoke out. You can't really get that fucking liquor fucking bloat your ass. It do so much shit to you. My daddy died from that shit. And he was like, his body was like green when he passed. My mom put some in his shit so he can die. I remember how sick he was the first days before he went to the hospital. I remember how he looked at me before he left, and then he died 3 days after that. I remember the way he looked at me while getting in the car in the driveway, driving down the road. He knew something was going to be happening because of whatever happened to him to me. He passed that through his eyes to me. I could have woke him up if I motherfucking knew how to pray right when I was that age. Because I almost had him waking. His eyes twitched back and forth, blinked back and forth when I touched his hand and prayed in his hand. He was almost waking up out of that unconsciousness. I said, "This Denise." And his eyes, it was closed, but they started wiggling on the inside and moving. And his hand gripped mine. I did it to both my granddaddies. They both woke up and my uncle got out of the hospital from me talking to him too. And then I hit in the car, sitting parked car at 100 miles per hour. And it survived. Stronger than a bitch. Fuck you mean, nigga. The only way my family could die is if we give our soul to the fucking devil. Fuck your mammy, fuck your pappy, and the bitch that had them. I don't give a fuck about this bitch. He mad. Cause bitch, when I tell you everything about the nigga finna die, nigga want I don't want shit from you. This nigga is fucking trying to take my motherfucking shit, disrespect me, my motherfucking shit. And I'm finna fucking kill him. It'll be an act of God. Know me that. Know that. Jehovah. This is what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? I'm finna teach you bitches something. Cut that shit down. I'm finna teach you bitches something. Because he don't realize that whether he here or not, see, the bitch really should be looking for something to do so I can stop acting like this. But no. Let's drag the motherfucker to hell. Fuck that, bitch. I rush your ass to that shit, bitch. Take your head and smurr all in that motherfucker. And leave your ass right there. To dry, bitch. I won't give a fuck. Hang that nigga by his dick. Tell that nigga, bitch, you dickless. I swear this nigga laughing, bitch. All I gotta put right now. All a bitch gotta put right now. I ain't worried about a nigga. I ain't worried about a nigga. Nigga can't do what the fuck I can do. Nigga can't set shit on fire like me. Huh? I don't need a crew, nigga. I don't gotta run off, talk about the nigga nothing. Bitch, you finna see it. Bitch, I ain't gotta hide shit. Fuck this nigga complaining about every motherfucking little thing he doing. And bitch, you ain't gotta do nothing. I'm finna teach that fuck nigga. I ain't never had a nigga like this. Bitch, I wouldn't give a fuck. They're the distractions. Sucking on shit. Something mentally wrong with this bitch. And I'm finna get rid of that. Right? That's all you can do when you got this type of shit in your life. Ask God to move that mountain by the vastest speed. Push your button. me a favor, please. Can you use that other little phone and look up the Art of War audiobook? Play it for me on the speaker. Can you do it in here? Shit. Please. That's something I need to hear from that or the collective. I'm going to try to help y'all out. I know the book subconsciously. Do you mind? Since you're looking up everything else. You don't care about literature. You just want to watch stupid shit. They programmed the fuck out of him, bitch. He don't know how to break none of that. God put me around him to show him, but he gay as fuck. Give me the phone back. We disrespect each other, but I do mine differently. My shit gonna be facts. Just put that, type in the Art of War.
The Art of War. What about the Art of War?
It's an audiobook.
Showing results for the Art of War.
The Art of War audiobook.
Showing results for the Art of War audiobook.
Oh, you want to watch this?
How want me to watch it?
This is a LibriVox recording.
Thank you.
All LibriVox
Speed it up
recordings
to
are in public
1.5.
domain. For more information and to find out how you can volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Moira Fogarty. The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Translated by Lionel Giles. Part 1. Laying Plans. Sun Tzu said, "The art of war is of vital importance to the state. It is a matter of life and death, a road either to safety or to ruin. Hence it is a subject of inquiry, which can on no account be neglected. The art of war, then, is governed by 5 constant factors, to be taken into account in one's deliberations, when seeking to determine the conditions obtaining in the field. These are 1. The moral law, 2. Heaven, 3. Earth, 4. The commander, 5. Method and discipline. The moral law causes the people to be in complete accord with their ruler, so that they will follow him regardless of their lives, undismayed by any danger. Heaven signifies night and day, cold and heat, times and seasons. Earth comprises distances, great and small, danger and security, open ground and narrow passes, the chances of life and death. The commander stands for the virtues of wisdom, sincerity, benevolence, courage, and strictness. By method and discipline are to be understood the marshalling of the army in its proper subdivisions, the graduations of rank among the officers, the maintenance of roads by which supplies may reach the army, and the control of military expenditure. These 5 heads should be familiar to every general. He who knows them will be victorious. He who knows them not will fail. Therefore, in your deliberations, when seeking to determine the military conditions, let them be made the basis of comparison in this wise. 1. Which of the 2 sovereigns is imbued with the moral law? 2. Which of the 2 generals has most ability? 3. With whom lie the advantages derived from heaven and earth? 4. On which side is discipline most rigorously enforced? 5. Which army is stronger? 6. On which side are officers and men more highly trained? 7. In which army is there the greater constancy both in reward and punishment? By means of these 7 considerations, I can forecast victory or defeat. The general that hearkens to my counsel and acts upon it will conquer. Let such a one be retained in command. The general that hearkens not to my counsel nor acts upon it will suffer defeat. Let such a one be dismissed. While heeding the profit of my counsel, avail yourself also of any helpful circumstances over and beyond the ordinary rules. According as circumstances are favorable, one should modify one's plans. All warfare is based on deception. Hence, when able to attack, we must seem unable. When using our forces, we must seem inactive. When we are near, we must make the enemy believe we are far away. When far away, we must make him believe we are near. Hold out baits to entice the enemy, feign disorder, and crush him. If he is secure at all points, be prepared for him. If he is in superior strength, evade him. If your opponent is of choleric temper, seek to irritate him. Pretend to be weak, that he may grow arrogant. If he is taking his ease, give him no rest. If his forces are united, separate them. Attack him where he is unprepared. Appear where you are not expected. These military devices, leading to victory, must not be divulged beforehand. Now the general who wins a battle makes many calculations in his temple ere the battle is fought. The general who loses a battle makes but few calculations beforehand. Thus do many calculations lead to victory, and few calculations to defeat. How much more, no calculation at all? It is by attention to this point that I can foresee who is likely to win or lose. End of Part 1. Part 2. Waging War. Sun Tzu said, in the operations of war, where there are in the field 1,000 swift chariots, as many heavy chariots, and 100,000 mail-clad soldiers, with provisions enough to carry them 1,000 li, the expenditure at home and at the front, including entertainment of guests, small items such as glue and paint, and sums spent on chariots and armor, will reach the total of 1,000 ounces of silver per day. Such is the cost of raising an army of 100,000 men.
Push the
When
button.
you engage in actual fighting, if victory is long in coming, then men's weapons will grow dull and their ardor will be damped. If you lay siege to a town, you will exhaust your strength. Again, if the campaign is protracted, the resources of the state will not be equal to the strain. Now, when your weapons are dulled, your ardor damped, your strength exhausted, and your treasure spent, other chieftains will spring up to take advantage of your extremity. Then no man, however wise, will be able to avert the consequences that must ensue. Thus, though we have heard of stupid haste in war, cleverness has never been seen associated with long delays. There is no instance of a country having benefited from prolonged warfare. It is only one who is thoroughly acquainted with the evils of war that can thoroughly understand the profitable way of carrying it on. The skillful soldier does not raise a second levy. Neither are his supply wagons loaded more than twice. Bring war material with you from home, but forage on the enemy. Thus the army will have food enough for its needs. Poverty of the state exchequer causes an army to be maintained by contributions from a distance. Contributing to maintain an army at a distance causes the people to be impoverished. On the other hand, the proximity of an army causes prices to go up, and high prices cause the people's substance to be drained away. When their substance is drained away, the peasantry will be afflicted by heavy exactions. With this loss of substance and exhaustion of strength, the homes of the people will be stripped bare, and 3/10 of their income will be dissipated. While government expenses for broken chariots, worn-out horses, breastplates and helmets, bows and arrows, spears and shields, protective mantles, draft oxen, and heavy wagons will amount to 4/10 of its total revenue. Hence, a wise general makes a point of foraging on the enemy. 1 cartload of the enemy's provisions is equivalent to 20 of one's own, and likewise a single pickle of his provender is equivalent to 20 from one's own store. Now, in order to kill the enemy, our men must be roused to anger. But there may be advantage from defeating the enemy. They must have their rewards. Therefore, in chariot fighting, when 10 or more chariots have been taken, those should be rewarded who took the first. Our own flags should be substituted for those of the enemy, and their chariots mingled and used in conjunction with ours. The captured soldiers should be kindly treated and kept. This is called using the conquered foe to augment one's own strength. In war, then, let your great object be victory, not lengthy campaigns. Thus it may be known that the leader of armies is the arbiter of the people's fate, the man on whom it depends whether the nation shall be in peace or in peril. End of Part 2. Recorded in Toronto, Ontario by Moira Fogarty, October 2006. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information and to find out how you can volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Moira Fogarty. The Art of War by Sun Tzu, translated by Lionel Giles. Part 3. Attack by Stratagem. Sun Tzu said, in the practical art of war, the best thing of all is to take the enemy's country whole and intact. To shatter and destroy it is not so good. So too, it is better to recapture an army entire than to destroy it, to capture a regiment, a detachment, or a company entire than to destroy them. Hence, to fight and conquer in all your battles is not supreme excellence. Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. Thus, the highest form of generalship is to balk the enemy's plans. The next best is to prevent the junction of the enemy's forces. The next in order is to attack the enemy's army in the field. And the worst policy of all is to besiege walled cities. The rule is not to besiege walled cities if it can possibly be avoided. The preparation of mantlets, movable shelters, and various implements of war will take up 3 whole months, and the piling up of mounds against the walls will take 3 months more. The general, unable to control his irritation, will launch his men to the assault like swarming ants, with the result that 1/3 of his men are slain, while the town still remains untaken. Such are the disastrous effects of a siege. Therefore, the skillful leader subdues the enemy's troops without any fighting. He captures their cities without laying siege to them. He overthrows their kingdom without lengthy operations in the field. With his forces intact, he will dispute the mastery of the empire, and thus, without losing a man, his triumph will be complete. This is the method of attacking by stratagem. It is the rule in war, if our forces are 10 to the enemy's 1, to surround him, if 5 to 1, to attack him, if twice as numerous, to divide our army into 2. If equally matched, we can offer battle. If slightly inferior in numbers, we can avoid the enemy. If quite unequal in every way, we can flee from him. Hence, though an obstinate fight may be made by a small force, in the end it must be captured by the larger force. Now the general is the bulwark of the state. If the bulwark is complete at all points, the state will be strong. If the bulwark is defective, the state will be weak. There are 3 ways in which a ruler can bring misfortune upon his army. 1. By commanding the army to advance or to retreat, being ignorant of the fact that it cannot obey. This is called hobbling the army. 2. By attempting to govern an army in the same way as he administers a kingdom, being ignorant of the conditions which obtain in an army. This causes restlessness in the soldiers' minds. 3. By employing the officers of his army without discrimination through ignorance of the military principle of adaptation to circumstances. This shakes the confidence of the soldiers. But when the army is restless and distrustful, trouble is sure to come from the other feudal princes. This is simply bringing anarchy into the army and flinging victory away. Thus, we may know that there are 5 essentials for victory. 1. He will win who knows when to fight and when not to fight. 2. He will win who knows how to handle both superior and inferior forces. 3. He will win whose army is animated by the same spirit throughout all its ranks. 4. He will win who, prepared himself, waits to take the enemy unprepared. 5. He will win who has military capacity and is not interfered with by the sovereign. Hence the saying, if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself, but not the enemy, for every victory gained, you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. End of Part 3. Part 4. Tactical Dispositions. Sun Tzu said, the good fighters of old first put themselves beyond the possibility of defeat, and then waited for an opportunity of defeating the enemy. To secure ourselves against defeat lies in our own hands, but the opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. Thus, the good fighter is able to secure himself against defeat, but cannot make certain of defeating the enemy. Hence the saying, one may know how to conquer without being able to do it.
Talking about join, y'all. That whole say join, y'all. Bitch, join y'all motherfuckers to do what?
Standing on the defensive indicates insufficient strength. Attacking, a superabundance of strength. The general who is skilled in defense hides in the most secret recesses of the earth. He who is skilled in attack flashes forth from the topmost heights of heaven. Thus, on the one hand, we have ability to protect ourselves, on the other, a victory that is complete. To see victory only when it is within the ken of the common herd is not the acme of excellence. Neither is it the acme of excellence if you fight and conquer, and the whole empire says, well done. To lift an autumn hair is no sign of great strength. To see the sun and moon is no sign of sharp sight. To hear the noise of thunder
You
is
finna
no sign
have that
of
pussy asshole in a
the
jail.
ancient clever fighter is one who not only wins, but excels in winning with ease. Hence, his victories bring him neither
That's what the fuck y'all finna go goddamn
he wins
do.
his battles by making no mistakes. Making no mistakes is what establishes the certainty of victory, for it means conquering an enemy that is already defeated. Hence, the skillful fighter puts himself into a position which makes defeat impossible, and does not miss the moment for defeating the enemy. Thus it is that in war, the victorious strategist only seeks battle after the victory has been won, whereas he who is destined to defeat first fights and afterwards looks for victory. The consummate leader cultivates the moral law and strictly adheres to method and discipline. Thus it is in his power to control success. In respect of military method, we have, firstly, measurement, secondly, estimation of quantity, thirdly, calculation, fourthly, balancing of chances, fifthly, victory. Measurement owes its existence to earth. Estimation of quantity to measurement, calculation to estimation of quantity, balancing of chances to calculation, and victory to balancing of chances. A victorious army opposed to a routed one is as a pound's weight placed in the scale against a single grain. The onrush of a conquering force is like the bursting of pent-up waters into a chasm of
Yeah, that whole
1,000 fathoms.
bitch.
End of part
See if she
4.
can watch me from now.
Recorded in Toronto, Ontario by Maureen Fogarty, October 2006.
Mm-hmm.
This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings
10,
are
6, 7.
For more information and to find out how you can volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Maureen Fogarty. The
2,
Art of War by Sun Tzu,
9.
translated by Lionel Giles. Part 5, Energy. Sun
Ah,
Tzu said, the control of a large force is the same
Y'all
principle as the
ass
control of
is
a few
fucking
people.
dead. You understand
Dividing
me?
up their numbers.
The
Fighting
numbers.
with a large army under your command is no less different from fighting with a small one. It is
Metatron.
merely a question of instituting signs and signals.
Mm-hmm.
To ensure that your whole host may withstand the brunt of the enemy's attack and remain unshaken, this is effected by maneuvers direct and indirect. That the impact of your army may be like a grindstone dashed against an egg, this is effected by the signs of weak points and strong. In all fighting, the direct method may be used for joining battle, but indirect methods will be needed in order to secure victory. Indirect tactics, efficiently applied, are inexhaustible as heaven and earth, unending as the flow of rivers and streams. Like the sun and moon, they end but to begin anew. Like the 4 seasons, they pass away to return once more. There are not more than 5 musical notes, yet the combinations of these 5 give rise to more melodies than can ever be heard. There are not more than 5 primary colors, blue, yellow, red, white, and black, yet in combination they produce more hues than can ever be seen. There are not more than 5 cardinal tastes, sour, acrid, salt, sweet, bitter, yet combinations of them yield more flavors than can ever be tasted. In battle, there are not more than 2 methods of attack, the direct and the indirect, yet these 2 in combination give rise to an endless series of maneuvers. The direct and the indirect lead on to each other in turn. It is like moving in a circle, you never come to an end. Who can exhaust the possibilities of their combination? The onset of troops is like the rush of a torrent which will even roll stones along in its course. The quality of decision is like the well-timed swing of a falcon, which enables it to strike and destroy its victim.
See,
Therefore, the good fighter will be terrible in his onset.
let
and
my
prompt in
ass.
his discipline. Energy may be likened to the bending of a crossbow. Decision to
And the bitch was neglected, motherfucker. It was you.
battle. There may be seeming disorder, and yet no real disorder at all. Confusion and chaos. Your array may be without head or tail. And your proof may
Turn that shit off,
Simulated disorder
motherfucker.
postulates perfect discipline. Simulated fear postulates courage. Simulated weakness postulates strength. Hiding order beneath the cloak of disorder is simply a question of subdivision. Concealing courage under their show of timidity presupposes a fund of latent energy. Masking strength with weakness is to be affected by tactical dispositions. Thus, one who is skillful at keeping the enemy on the move maintains deceitful appearances, according to which the enemy will act. He sacrifices something that the enemy may snatch at him. By holding out baits, he keeps him on the march. Then, with a body of picked men, he lies in wait for him. The clever combatant looks to the effect of combined energy, and does not require too much from individuals. Hence his ability to pick out the right men and utilize combined energy. When he utilizes combined energy, his fighting men become as if they like to roll logs or stones, for it is the nature of a log or stone to remain motionless on level ground, and to move when on a slope. If four-cornered, to come to a standstill, but if round-shaped, to go rolling down. Thus the energy developed by good fighting men is as the momentum of a round stone rolled down a mountain thousands of feet in height. So much on the subject of energy. End of part 5. Part 6, weak points and strong. Sun Tzu said, whoever is first in the field and awaits the coming of the enemy will be fresh for the fight. Whoever is second in the field and has to hasten to battle will arrive exhausted. Therefore, the clever combatant imposes his will on the enemy, but does not allow the enemy's will to be imposed on him. By holding out advantages to him, he can cause the enemy to approach of his own accord, or, by inflicting damage, he can make it impossible for the enemy to draw near. If the enemy is taking his ease, he can harass him. If well supplied with food, he can starve him out. If quietly encamped, he can force him to move. Appear at points which the enemy must hasten to defend. March swiftly to places where you are not expected. An army may march great distances without distress if it marches through country where the enemy is not. You can be sure of succeeding in your attacks if you only attack places which are undefended. You can ensure the safety of your defense if you only hold positions that cannot be attacked. Hence, the general is skillful in attack whose opponent does not know what to defend, and he is skillful in defense whose opponent does not know what to attack. O divine art of subtlety and secrecy! Through you we learn to be invisible, through you inaudible, and hence we can hold the enemy's fate in our hands. You may advance and be absolutely irresistible if you make for the enemy's weak points. You may retire and be safe from pursuit if your movements are more rapid than those of the enemy. If we wish to fight, the enemy can be forced to an engagement, even though he be sheltered behind a high rampart and a deep ditch. All we need do is attack some other place that he will be obliged to relieve. If we do not wish to fight, we can prevent the enemy from engaging us, even though the lines of our encampment be merely traced out on the ground. All we need do is throw something odd and unaccountable in his way. By discovering the enemy's dispositions and remaining invisible ourselves, we can keep our forces concentrated while the enemy's must be divided. We can form a single united body while the enemy must split out into fractions. Hence, there will be a whole pitted against separate parts of a whole, which means that we shall be many to the enemy's few. And if we are able thus to attack an inferior force with a superior one, our opponents will be in dire straits. The spot where we intend to fight must not be made known, for then the enemy will have to prepare against a possible attack at several different points. And his forces being thus distributed in many directions, the numbers we shall have to face at any given point will be proportionately few. For should the enemy strengthen his van, he will weaken his rear. Should he strengthen his rear, he will weaken his van. Should he strengthen his left, he will weaken his right. Should he strengthen his right, he will weaken his left. If he sends reinforcements everywhere, he will everywhere be weak. Numerical weakness comes from having to prepare against possible attacks. Numerical strength, from compelling our adversary to make these preparations against us. Knowing the place and the time of the coming battle, we may concentrate from the greatest distances in order to fight. But if neither time nor place be known, then the left wing will be impotent to succor the right equally impotent to succor the left, the van unable to relieve the rear, or the rear to support the van. How much more so if the furthest proportions of the army are anything under 100 li apart, and even the nearest are separated by several li? Though according to my estimate the soldiers of UA exceed our own in number, that shall advantage them nothing in the matter of victory. I say then that victory can be achieved. Though the enemy be stronger in numbers, we may prevent him from fighting. Scheme so as to discover his plans and the likelihood of their success. Rouse him and learn the principle of his activity or inactivity. Force him to reveal himself so as to find out his vulnerable spots. Carefully compare the opposing army with your own so that you may know where strength is superabundant and where it is deficient. In making tactical dispositions, the highest pitch you can attain is to conceal them. Conceal your dispositions and you will be safe from the prying of the subtlest spies, from the machinations of the wisest brains. How victory may be produced for them out of the enemy's own tactics, that is what the multitude cannot comprehend. All men can see the tactics whereby I conquer, but what none can see is the strategy out of which victory is evolved. Do not repeat the tactics which have gained you one victory, but let your methods be regulated by the infinite variety of circumstances. Military tactics are like unto water, for water in its natural course runs away from high places and hastens downwards. So in war, the way is to avoid what is strong and to strike at what is weak. Water shapes its course according to the nature of the ground over which it flows. The soldier works out his victory in relation to the foe whom he is facing. The 5 elements, water, fire, wood, metal, earth, are not always equally predominant. The 4 seasons make way for each other in turn. There are short days and long. The moon has its periods of waning and waxing. End of part 6. Recorded in Toronto, Ontario by Moira Fogarty, October 2006. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information and to find out how you can volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Moira Fogarty. The Art of War by Sun Tzu, translated by Lionel Giles. Part 7. Maneuvering. Sun Tzu said, in war, the general receives his commands from the sovereign. Having collected an army and concentrated his forces, he must blend and harmonize the different elements thereof before pitching his camp. After that comes tactical maneuvering, than which there is nothing more difficult. The difficulty of tactical maneuvering consists in turning the devious into the direct, and misfortune into gain. Thus, to take a long and circuitous route, after enticing the enemy out of the way, and those starting after him, to contrive to reach the goal before him, shows knowledge of the artifice of deviation. Maneuvering with an army is advantageous, with an undisciplined multitude, most dangerous. If you set a fully equipped army in march in order to snatch an advantage, the chances are that you will be too late. On the other hand, to detach a flying column for the purpose involves the sacrifice of its baggage and stores. Thus, if you order your men to roll up their buff coats and make forced marches without halting day or night, covering double the usual distance at a stretch, doing 100 li in order to wrest an advantage, the leaders of all your 3 divisions will fall into the hands of the enemy. The stronger men will be in front, the jaded ones will fall behind, and on this plan, only 1/10 of your army will reach its destination. If you march 50 li in order to outmaneuver the enemy, you will lose the leader of your first division, and only half your force will reach the goal. If you march 30 li with the same object, 2/3 of your army will arrive. We may take it then that an army without its baggage train is lost. Without provisions, it is lost. Without bases of supply, it is lost. We cannot enter into alliances until we are acquainted with the designs of our neighbors. We are not fit to lead an army on the march unless we are familiar with the face of the country, its mountains and forests, its pitfalls and precipices, its marshes and swamps. We shall be unable to turn natural advantage to account unless we make use of local guides. In war, practice dissimulation and you will succeed. Whether to concentrate or to divide your troops must be decided by circumstances. Let your rapidity be that of the wind, your compactness that of the forest. In raiding and plundering be like fire, in immovability like a mountain. Let your plans be dark, and impenetrable as night, and when you move, fall like a thunderbolt. When you plunder a countryside, let the spoil be divided amongst your men. When you capture new territory, cut it up into allotments for the benefit of the soldiery. Ponder and deliberate before you make a move. He will conquer who has learnt the artifice of deviation. Such is the art of maneuvering. The Book of Army Management says, on the field of battle, the spoken word does not carry far enough, hence the institution of gongs and drums. Nor can ordinary objects be seen clearly enough, hence the institution of banners and flags. Gongs and drums, banners and flags, are means whereby the ears and eyes of the host may be focused on one particular point. The host thus forming a single united body, it is impossible either for the brave to advance alone, or for the cowardly to retreat alone. This is the art of handling large masses of men. In night fighting, then, make much use of signal fires and drums, and in fighting by day, of flags and banners, as a means of influencing the ears and eyes of your army. A whole army may be robbed of its spirit. A commander-in-chief may be robbed of his presence of mind. Now, a soldier's spirit is keenest in the morning. By noonday, it has begun to flag, and in the evening his mind is bent only on returning to camp. A clever general, therefore, avoids an army when its spirit is keen, but attacks it when it is sluggish and inclined to return. This is the art of studying moods. Disciplined and calm, to await the appearance of disorder and hubbub amongst the enemy. This is the art of retaining self-possession. To be near the goal while the enemy is still far from it. To wait at ease while the enemy is toiling and struggling. To be well fed while the enemy is famished. This is the art of husbanding one's strength. To refrain from intercepting an enemy whose banners are in perfect order. To refrain from attacking an army drawn up in calm and confident array. This is the art of studying circumstances. It is a military axiom not to advance uphill against the enemy, nor to oppose him when he comes downhill. Do not pursue an enemy who simulates flight. Do not attack soldiers whose temper is keen. Do not swallow bait offered by the enemy. Do not interfere with an army that is returning home. When you surround an army, leave an outlet free. Do not press a desperate foe too hard. Such is the art of warfare. End of Part 7. Part 8. Variation in Tactics. Sun Tzu said, in war, the general receives his commands from the sovereign, collects his army, and concentrates his forces. When in difficult country, do not encamp. In country where high roads intersect, join hands with your allies. Do not linger in dangerously isolated positions. In hemmed-in situations, you must resort to stratagem. In desperate position, you must fight. There are roads which must not be followed, armies which must not be attacked, towns which must not be besieged, positions which must not be contested, commands of the sovereign which must not be obeyed. The general who thoroughly understands the advantages that accompany variation of tactics knows how to handle his troops. The general who does not understand these may be well acquainted with the configuration of the country, yet he will not be able to turn his knowledge to practical account. So, the student of war who is unversed in the art of war of varying his plans, even though he be acquainted with the 5 advantages, will fail to make the best use of his men. Hence, in a wise leader's plans, considerations of advantage and of disadvantage will be blended together. If our expectation of advantage be tempered in this way, we may succeed in accomplishing the essential part of our schemes. If, on the other hand, in the midst of difficulties we are always ready to seize an advantage, we may extricate ourselves from misfortune. Reduce the hostile chiefs by inflicting damage on them, and make trouble for them, and keep them constantly engaged. Hold out specious allurements, and make them rush to any given point. The art of war teaches us to rely not on the likelihood of the enemy's not coming, but on our own readiness to receive him. Not on the chance of his not attacking, but rather on the fact that we have made our position unassailable. There are 5 dangerous faults which may affect a general. 1. Recklessness, which leads to destruction. 2. Cowardice, which leads to capture.
I need a reading. I'm available by Cash App.
4.
Donation.
Honor, which is sensitive to shame.
Text that
5.
person back.
Over-solicitude for his
There's
men,
some
which is
emails
possessive
on
to
there
control.
too.
These are
I
the
don't know
5
what that's
sins of
about.
a general, ruinous to the conduct of war.
If you don't know,
When an army is overthrown and its leader slain, the cause will surely be found among these 5 dangerous faults. Let them be a subject of meditation. End of part 9. Recorded in Toronto, Ontario by Moira Fogarty, October 2006. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information and to find out how you can volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Moira Fogarty. The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Translated by Lionel Giles. Part 9. The Army on the March. Sun Tzu said, "We come now to the question of encamping the army and observing the signs of the enemy. Pass quickly over mountains and keep in the neighborhood of valleys. Camp in high places facing the sun. Do not climb heights in order to fight." So much for mountain warfare. After crossing a river, you should get far away from it. When an invading force crosses a river in its onward march, do not advance to meet it in midstream. It will be best to let half the army get across and then deliver your attack. If you are anxious to fight, you should not go to meet the invader near a river which he has to cross. Moor your craft higher up than the enemy and facing the sun. Do not move upstream to meet the enemy. So much for river warfare. In crossing salt marshes, your sole concern should be to get over them quickly, without any delay. If forced to fight in a salt marsh, you should have water and grass near you and get your back to a clump of trees. So much for operations in salt marshes. In dry, level country, take up an easily accessible position with rising ground to your right and on your rear, so that the danger may be in front and safety lie behind. So much for campaigning in flat country. These are the 4 useful branches of military knowledge which enable the Yellow Emperor to vanquish 4 several sovereigns. All armies prefer high ground to low, and sunny places to dark.
Stress.
If you are careful of your men and camp on hard ground,
what?
the army will be free from disease of every
What you
kind,
said?
and this will spell victory.
Huh?
When you come to a hill or a bank, occupy the sunny side
What you
with the
said?
slope on your right rear. Thus you will at once act for the benefit of your
Right.
soldiers
What you said?
and utilize the natural advantages of the ground.
Can't
When, in
talk.
consequence of heavy rains up country, a river which you wish to ford is swollen and flecked with foam, you must wait until it subsides. Country in which there are precipitous cliffs with torrents running between, deep natural hollows, confined places, tangled thickets, quagmires, and crevasses should be left with all possible speed and not approached.
Yeah.
While we keep away from such places, we should get the enemy to approach them. While we face them, we should let the enemy have them on his rear. If in the neighborhood of your camp there should be any hilly country, ponds surrounded by aquatic grass, hollow basins filled with
What do
reeds,
Obama
or
for?
woods with thick undergrowth, they must be carefully routed out and searched, for these are places where men in ambush or insidious spies are likely to be lurking. When the enemy is close at hand and remains quiet, he is relying on the natural strength of his position. When he keeps aloof and tries to provoke a battle, he is anxious for the other side to advance. If his place of encampment is easy of access, he is tendering a bait. Movement amongst the trees of a forest shows that the enemy is advancing. The appearance of a number of screens in the midst of thick grass means that the enemy wants to make us suspicious. The rising of birds in their flight is the sign of an ambuscade. Startled beasts indicate that a sudden attack is coming. When there is dust rising in a high sign of chariots advancing. When the dust is low, but spread over a wide area, it betokens the approach of infantry. When it branches out in different directions, it shows that parties have been sent to collect firewood. A few clouds of dust moving to and fro signify that the army is encamping. Humble words and increased preparations are signs that the enemy is about to advance. Violent language and driving forward as if to the attack are signs that he will retreat. When the light chariots come out first and take up a position on the wings, it is a sign that the enemy is forming for battle. Peace proposals unaccompanied by a sworn covenant indicate the plot. When there is much running about and the soldiers fall into rank, it means that the critical moment has come. When some start advancing and some retreating, it is a lure. When the soldiers stand leaning on their spears, they are faint from want of food. If those who are sent to draw water begin by drinking a spout, we may deliver our attack with advantage. narrow passes. If you can occupy them first, let them be strongly garrisoned and await the advent of the enemy. Should the army forestall you in occupying a pass, do not go after him if the pass is fully garrisoned, but only if it is weakly garrisoned. With regard to precipitous heights, if you are beforehand with your adversary, you should occupy the raised and sunny spots and there wait for him to come up. If the enemy has occupied them before you, do not follow him, but retreat and try to entice him away. If you are situated at a great distance from the enemy, and the strength of the two armies is equal, it is not easy to provoke a battle, and fighting will be to your disadvantage. These 6 are the principles connected with earth. The general who has attained a responsible post must be careful to study them. Now, an army is exposed to 6 several calamities, not arising from natural causes, but from faults for which the general is responsible. These are 1. Flight, 2. Insubordination, 3. Collapse, 4. Ruin, 5. Disorganization, 6. Rout. Other conditions being equal, if one force is hurled against another 10 times its size, the result will be the flight of the former. When the common soldiers are too strong and their officers too weak, the result is insubordination. When the officers are too strong and the common soldiers too weak, the result is collapse. When the higher officers are angry and insubordinate, and on meeting the enemy give battle on their own account from a feeling of resentment, before the commander-in-chief can tell whether or not he is in a position to fight, the result is ruin. When the general is weak and without authority, when his orders are not clear and distinct, when there are no fixed duties assigned to officers and men, and the ranks are formed in a slovenly, haphazard manner, the result is utter disorganization. When a general, unable to estimate the enemy's strength, allows an inferior force to engage a larger one, or hurls a weak detachment against a powerful one, and neglects to place picked soldiers in the front rank, the result must be rout. These are 6 ways of courting defeat, which must be carefully noted by the general who has attained a responsible post. The natural formation of the country is the soldier's best ally, but the power of estimating the adversary, of controlling the forces of victory, and of shrewdly calculating difficulties, dangers, and distances, constitutes the test of a great general. He who knows these things, and in fighting puts his knowledge into practice, will win his battles. He who knows them not, nor practices them, will surely be defeated. If fighting is sure to result in victory, then you must fight, even though the ruler forbid it. If fighting will not result in victory, then you must not fight, even at the ruler's bidding. The general who advances without coveting fame, and retreats without fearing disgrace, whose only thought is to protect his country and do good service for his sovereign, is the jewel of the kingdom. Regard your soldiers as your children, and they will follow you into the deepest valleys. Look upon them as your own beloved sons, and they will stand by you, even unto death. If, however, you are indulgent, but unable to make your authority felt, kind-hearted, but unable to enforce your commands, and incapable, moreover, of quelling disorder, then your soldiers must be likened to spoiled children. They are useless for any practical purpose. If we know that our own are in a condition to attack, but are unaware that the enemy is not open to attack, we have gone only halfway towards victory. If we know that the enemy is open to attack, but are unaware that we know that the enemy is open to attack, and also know that our men are in a condition to attack, but are unaware that the nature of the ground makes fighting impracticable, we have still only gone halfway towards victory. Hence the experienced soldier, once in motion, is never bewildered. Once he has broken camp, he is never at a loss. Hence the saying, if you know the enemy and know yourself, your victory will not stand in doubt. If you know heaven and know earth, you may make your victory complete. End of part 10. Recorded in Toronto, Ontario by Maneuvering Sun Tzu, October 2006. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information and to find out how you can volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Maneuvering Sun Tzu. The art ground. 4. Open ground. 5. Ground of intersecting highways. 6. Serious ground. 7. Difficult ground. 8. Hand-in ground. 9. Desperate ground. When a chieftain is fighting in his own territory, it is dispersive ground. When he is penetrated into hostile territory,
Stop
but
being
to
so
great
fucking
distance, it is
stupid.
facile ground. Ground with a position which affords great advantage to either side is contentious ground. Ground on which each side has liberty of movement is open ground. Ground which forms the key to 3 contiguous states, so that he who occupies it first has most of the empire at his command, is a ground of intersecting highways. When an army has penetrated into the heart of a hostile country, leaving a number of fortified cities in its rear, it is serious ground. Mountain forests, rugged steeps, marshes, and fens, all country that is hard to traverse, this is difficult ground. Ground which is reached through narrow gorges, and from which we can only retire by tortuous paths, so that a small number of the enemy would suffice to crush a large body of our men. This is hemmed-in ground. Ground on which we can only be saved from destruction by fighting without delay is desperate ground. On dispersive ground, therefore, fight not. On facile ground, halt not. On contentious ground, attack not. On open ground, do not try to block the enemy's way. On the ground of intersecting highways, join hands with your allies. On serious ground, gather in plunder. In difficult ground, keep steadily on the march. On hemmed-in ground, resort to stratagem. On desperate ground, fight. Those who were called skillful leaders of old knew how to drive a wedge between the enemy's front and rear, to prevent cooperation between his large and small divisions, to hinder the good troops from rescuing the bad, the officers from rallying their men. When the enemy's men were united, they managed to keep them in disorder. When it was to their advantage, they made a forward move, when otherwise they stopped still. If asked how to cope with the great host of the enemy in orderly array, and on the point of marching to the attack, I should say, begin by seizing something which your opponent holds dear. Then he will be amenable to your will. Rapidity is the essence of war. Take advantage of the enemy's unreadiness, make your way by unexpected routes, and attack unguarded spots. The following are the principles to be observed by an invading force. The further you penetrate into a country, the greater will be the solidarity of your troops, and thus the defenders will not prevail against you. Make forays in fertile country in order to supply your army with food. Carefully study the well-being of your men, and do not overtax them. Concentrate your energy and hoard your strength. Keep your army continually on the move, and devise unfathomable plans. Throw your soldiers into positions whence there is no escape, and they will prefer death to flight. If they will face death, there is nothing they may not achieve. Officers and men alike will put forth their uttermost strength. Soldiers, when in desperate straits, lose the sense of fear. If there is no place of refuge, they will stand firm. If they are in hostile country, they will show a stubborn front. If there is no help for it, they will fight hard. Thus, without waiting to be marshaled, the soldiers will be constantly on the qui-vive. Without waiting to be asked, they will do your will. Without restrictions, they will be faithful. Without giving orders, they can be trusted. Prohibit the taking of omens and do away with superstitious doubts. Then, until death itself comes, no calamity need be feared. If our soldiers are not overburdened with money, it is not because they have a distaste for riches. If their lives are not unduly long, it is not because they are disinclined to longevity. On the day they are ordered out to battle, your soldiers may weep, those sitting up bedewing their garments, and those lying down, letting the tears run down their cheeks. But let them once be brought to bay, and they will display the courage of a Chu or a Kui. The skillful tactician may be likened to the Shuai-Jan. Now, the Shuai-Jan is a snake that is found in the Chi'un Mountains. Strike at its head, and he will be attacked by its tail. Strike at its tail, and he will be attacked by its head. Strike at the middle, and you will be attacked by head and tail both. Asked if an army can be made to imitate the Shuai-Jan, I should answer yes. For the men of Wu and the men of Yue are enemies. Yet if they are crossing a river in the same boat and are caught by a storm, they will come to each other's assistance, just as the left hand helps the right. Hence, it is not enough to put one's trust in the tethering of horses and the burying of chariot wheels in the ground. The principle on which to manage an army is to set up one standard of courage, which all must reach. How to make the best of both strong and weak, that is a question involving the proper use of ground. Thus, the skillful general conducts his army just as though he were leading a single man, willy-nilly by the hand.
Don't say him
It is
shit.
a general to be quiet, and thus there secrecy, upright and just, and thus maintain order. He must be able to mystify his officers and men by false reports and appearances, and thus keep them in total ignorance. By altering his arrangements and changing his plans, he keeps the enemy without definite knowledge. By shifting his camp and taking circuitous routes, he prevents the enemy from anticipating his purpose. At the critical moment, the leader of an army acts like one who has climbed up a height and then kicks away the ladder behind him. He carries his men deep into hostile territory before he shows his hand. He burns his boats and breaks his cooking pots. Like a shepherd driving a flock of sheep, he drives his men this way and that, and nothing knows whither he is going. To muster his host and bring it into danger, this may be termed the business of the general. The different measures suited to the 9 varieties of ground, the expediency of aggressive or defensive tactics, and the fundamental laws of human nature, these are things that must most certainly be studied. When invading hostile territory, the general principle is that penetrating deeply brings cohesion. Penetrating but a short way means dispersion. When you leave your own country behind and take your army across neighborhood territory, you find yourself on critical ground. When there are means of communication on all 4 sides, the ground is one of intersecting highways. When you penetrate deeply into a country, it is serious ground. When you penetrate but a little way, it is facile ground. When you have the enemy's strongholds on your rear and narrow passes in front, it is hemmed-in ground. When there is no place of refuge at all, it is desperate ground. Therefore, on dispersive ground, I would inspire my men with unity of purpose. On facile ground, I would see that there is close connection between all parts of my army. On contentious ground, I would hurry up my rear. On open ground, I would keep a vigilant eye on my defenses. On a ground of intersecting highways, I would consolidate my alliances. On serious ground, I would try to ensure a continuous stream of supplies. On difficult ground, I would keep pushing on along the road. On hemmed-in ground, I would block any way of retreat. On desperate ground, I would proclaim to my soldiers the hopelessness of saving their lives. For it is the soldier's disposition to offer an obstinate resistance when surrounded, to fight hard when he cannot help himself, and to obey promptly when he has fallen into danger. We cannot enter into alliance with neighboring princes until we are acquainted with their designs. We are not fit to lead an army on the march unless we are familiar with the face of the country, its mountains and forests, its pitfalls and precipices, its marshes and swamps. We shall be unable to turn natural advantages to account unless we make use of local guides. To be ignored of any one of the following 4 or 5 principles does not befit a warlike prince. When a warlike prince attacks a powerful state, his generalship shows itself in preventing the concentration of the enemy's
Go
forces.
outside.
He overawes his opponents, and their allies are prevented from joining against him. Hence, he does not strive to ally himself with all and sundry, nor does he foster the power of other states. He carries out his own secret designs, keeping his antagonists in awe. Thus, he is able to capture their cities and overthrow their kingdoms. Bestow rewards without regard to rule, issue orders without regard to previous arrangements, and you will be able to handle a whole army as though you had to do with but a single man. Confront your soldiers with the deed itself. Never let them know your design. When the outlook is bright, bring it before their eyes, but tell them nothing when the situation is gloomy. Place your army in deadly peril, and it will survive. Plunge it into desperate straits, and it will come off in safety. For it is precisely when a force has fallen into harm's way that it is capable of striking a blow for victory. Success in warfare is gained by carefully accommodating ourselves to the enemy's purpose. By persistently hanging on the enemy's flank, we shall succeed in the long run in killing the commander-in-chief. This is called ability to accomplish a thing by sheer cunning. On the day that you take up your command, block the frontier passes, destroy the official tallies, and stop the passage of all emissaries. Be stern in the council chamber so that you may control the situation. If the enemy leaves a door open, you must rush in. Forestall your opponent by seizing what he holds dear, and subtly contrive to time his arrival on the ground. Walk in the path defined by rule, and accommodate yourself to the enemy until you can fight a decisive battle. At first, then, exhibit the coyness of a maiden, until the enemy gives you an opening. Afterwards, emulate the rapidity of a running hare, and it will be too late for the enemy to oppose you. End of Part 11. Recorded in Toronto, Ontario, by Moira Fogarty, October 2006. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information and to find out how you can volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Moira Fogarty. The Art of War by Sun Tzu, translated by Lionel Giles. Part 12, The Attack by Fire. Sun Tzu said, there are 5 ways of attacking with fire. The first is to burn soldiers in their camp. The second is to burn stores. The third is to burn baggage trains. The fourth is to burn arsenals and magazines. The fifth is to hurl dropping fire amongst the enemy. In order to carry out an attack, we must have means available. The material for raising fire should always be kept in readiness. There is a proper season for making attacks with fire, and special days for starting the conflagration. The proper season is when the weather is very dry. The special days are those when the moon is in the constellations of the sieve, the wall, the wing, or the crossbar, for these 4 are all days of rising wind. In attacking with fire, one should be prepared to meet 5 possible developments. 1. When fire breaks out inside to enemy's camp, respond at once with an attack from without. 2. If there is an outbreak of fire, but the enemy soldiers remain quiet, bide your time and do not attack. 3. When the force of the flames has reached its height, follow it up with an attack, if that is practicable. If not, stay where you are. 4. If it is possible to make an assault with fire from without, do not wait for it to break out within, but deliver your attack at a favorable moment. 5. When you start a fire, be to windward of it. Do not attack from the leeward. A wind that rises in the daytime lasts long, but a night breeze soon falls. In every army, the 5 developments connected with fire must be known, the movements of the stars calculated, and a watch kept for the proper days. Hence, those who use fire as an aid to the attack show intelligence. Those who use water as an aid to the attack gain an accession of strength. By means of water, an enemy may be intercepted, but not robbed of all his belongings. Unhappy is the fate of one who tries to win his battles and succeed in his attacks without cultivating the spirit of enterprise, for the result is a waste of time and general stagnation. Hence the saying, the enlightened ruler lays his plans well ahead. The good general cultivates his resources. Move not unless you see an advantage. Use not your troops unless there is something to be gained. Fight not unless the position is critical. No ruler should put troops into the field merely to gratify his own spleen. No general should fight a battle simply out of pique. If it is to your advantage, make a forward move. If not, stay where you are. Anger may in time change to gladness. Vexation may be succeeded by content. But a kingdom that has once been destroyed can never come again into being, nor can the dead ever be brought back to life. Hence the enlightened ruler is heedful, and the good general full of caution. This is the way to keep a country in peace and an army intact. End of Part 12. Part 13. The use of spies. Sun Tzu said, raising a host of 100,000 men and marching them great distances entails heavy loss on the people and a drain on the resources of the state. The daily expenditure will amount to 1,000 ounces of silver. There will be commotion at home and abroad, and men will drop down exhausted on the highways. As many as 700,000 families will be impeded in their labor. Hostile armies may face each other for years, striving for the victory which is decided in a single day. This being so, to remain in ignorance of the enemy's condition simply because one grudges the outlay of 100 ounces of silver in honors and emoluments is the height of inhumanity. One who acts thus is no leader of men, no present help to his sovereign, no master of victory. Thus, what enables the wise sovereign and the good general to strike and conquer and achieve things beyond the reach of ordinary men is foreknowledge. Now, this foreknowledge cannot be elicited from spirits. It cannot be obtained inductively from experience, nor by any deductive calculation. Knowledge of the enemy's dispositions can only be obtained from other men. Hence, the use of spies, of whom there are 5 classes. 1. Local spies. 2. Inward spies. 3. Converted spies. 4. Doomed spies. 5. Surviving spies. When these 5 kinds of spy are all at work, none can discover the secret system. This is called divine manipulation of the threads. It is the sovereign's most precious faculty. Having local spies means employing the services of the inhabitants of a district. Having inward spies, making use of officials of the enemy. Having converted spies, getting hold of the enemy's spies and using them for our own purposes. Having doomed spies, doing certain things openly for purposes of deception, and allowing our spies to know of them and report them to the enemy. Surviving spies, finally, are those who bring back news from the enemy's camp. Hence it is that none in the whole army are more intimate relations to be maintained than the spies. None should be more liberally rewarded. In no other business should greater secrecy be preserved. Spies cannot be usefully employed without a certain intuitive sagacity. They cannot be properly managed without benevolence and straightforwardness. Without subtle ingenuity of mind, one cannot make certain of the truth of their reports. Be subtle, and use your spies for every kind of business. If a secret piece of news is divulged by a spy before the time is ripe, he must be put to death together with the man to whom the secret was told. Whether the object be to push an army, to storm a city, or to assassinate an individual, it is always necessary to begin by finding out the names of the attendants, the aides de camp, and doorkeepers and sentries of the general in command. Our spies must be commissioned to ascertain these. The enemy spies who have come to spy on us must be sought out, tempted with bribes, led away, and comfortably housed. Thus they will become converted spies and available for our service. It is through the information brought by the converted spy that we are able to acquire and employ local and inward spies. It is owing to this information again that we can cause the doomed spy to carry false tidings to the enemy. Lastly, it is by this information that the surviving spy can be used on appointed occasions. The end and aim of spying in all its 5 varieties is knowledge of the enemy, and this knowledge can only be derived in the first instance from the converted spy. Hence it is essential that the converted spy be treated with the utmost liberality. Of old, the rise of the Yin dynasty was due to Yi Qi, who had served under the Xia. Likewise, the rise of the Chu dynasty was due to Liu Ya, who had served under the Yin. Hence, it is only the enlightened ruler and the wise general who will use the highest intelligence of the army for purposes of spying, and thereby they achieve great results. Spies are a most important element in water, because on them depends an army's ability to move. End of The Art of War. Recorded in Toronto, Ontario, by Moira Fogarty, October 2006.
Part 1 of The Prince. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Clive Catterall. The Prince, by Niccolo Machiavelli. Translated by W.K. Marriott. Dedication, and chapters 1 to 3. Dedication to the magnificent Lorenzo di Piero de' Medici. Those who strive to obtain the good graces of a prince are accustomed to come before him with such things as they hold most precious, or in which they see him take most delight. Whence one often sees horses, arms, cloth of gold, precious stones, and similar ornaments presented to princes worthy of their greatness. Desiring, therefore, to present myself to your magnificence with some testimony of my devotion towards you, I have not found among my possessions anything which I hold more dear than, or value so much, as the knowledge of the actions of great men, acquired by long experience in contemporary affairs, and a continual study of antiquity, which, having reflected upon it with great and prolonged diligence, I now send, digested into a little volume, to your magnificence. And although I may consider this work unworthy of your countenance, nevertheless, I trust much to your benignity that it may be acceptable, seeing that it is not possible for me to make a better gift than to offer you the opportunity of understanding in the shortest time all that I have learned in so many years and with so many troubles and dangers. In which work I have not embellished with swelling or magnificent words, nor stuffed with rounded periods, nor with any extrinsic elements or adornments whatever, with which so many are accustomed to embellish their works. For I have wished either that no honour should be given it, or else that the truth of the matter and the weightiness of the theme shall make it acceptable. Nor do I hold with those who regard it as a presumption if a man of low and humble condition dare to discuss and settle the concerns of princes. Because, just as those who draw landscapes place themselves below in the plain to contemplate the nature of the mountains and of lofty places, and in order to contemplate the plains, place themselves upon high mountains, even so, do needs to be of the people. Take, then, your magnificence, this little gift, in the spirit in which I send it, wherein, if it be diligently read and considered by you, you will learn my extreme desire that you should attain that greatness which fortune and your other attributes promise. And if your magnificence, from the summit of your greatness, will sometimes turn your eyes to these lower regions, you will see how unmeritedly I suffer a great and continued malignity of fortune. Chapter 1. How many kinds of principalities there are, and by what means they are acquired. All states, all powers that have held and hold rule over men, have been and are either republics or principalities. Principalities are either hereditary, in which the family has been long established, or they are new. And the new are either entirely new, as was Milan de Francesco Sforza, or they are, as it were, members annexed to the hereditary estate of the prince who has acquired them, as was the kingdom of Naples to that of the king of Spain. Such dominions thus acquired are either accustomed to live under a prince, or to live in freedom, and are acquired either by the arms of the prince himself, or of others, or else by fortune or by ability. Chapter 2. Concerning hereditary principalities. I will leave out whole discussion on republics, inasmuch as in another place I have written of them at length, and will address myself only to principalities. In doing so, I will keep to the order indicated above, and discuss how such principalities are to be ruled and preserved. I say at once, there are fewer difficulties in holding hereditary states and those long accustomed to the family of their prince than new ones. For it is sufficient only not to transgress the customs of his ancestors, and to deal prudently with circumstances as they arise, for a prince of average powers to maintain himself in his state, unless he be deprived of it by some extraordinary and excessive force. And, if he should be so deprived of it, whenever anything sinister happens to the usurper, he will regain it. We have, in Italy, for example, the Duke of Ferrara, who could not have withstood the attacks of the Venetians in 84, or those of Pope Julius in 10, unless he had been long established in his dominions. For the hereditary prince has less cause and less necessity to offend, hence it happens that he will be more loved, and unless extraordinary vices cause him to be hated, it is reasonable to expect that his subjects will be naturally well disposed towards him, and in the antiquity and duration of his rule, the memories and motives that make the change are lost, for one change always leaves the toothing for another. Chapter 3. Concerning mixed principalities. But the difficulties occur in a new principality. And firstly, if it be not entirely new, but is, as it were, a member of a state which, taken collectively, may be called composite, the changes arise chiefly from an inherent difficulty there is in all new principalities. For men change their rulers willingly, hoping to better themselves, and this hope induces them to take up arms against him who rules, wherein they are deceived, because they afterwards find, by experience, they have gone from bad to worse. This follows also another natural and common necessity, which always causes a new prince to burden those who have submitted to him with his soldiery, and with infinite other hardships which he must put upon his new acquisition. In this way, you have enemies of all those whom you have injured in seizing that principality, and you are not able to keep those friends who put you there, because of your not being able to satisfy them in the way they expected. And you cannot take strong measures against them, feeling bound to them. For, although one may be very strong in armed forces, yet in entering a province, one has always need of the goodwill of the natives. For these reasons, Louis XII, King of France, quickly occupied Milan and as quickly lost it. And to turn back the first time, he only needed Ludovico's own forces, because those who had opened the gates to him, finding themselves deceived in their hopes of future benefit, would not endure the ill treatment of the new prince. It is very true that after acquiring rebellious provinces a second time, they are not so lightly lost afterwards, because the prince, with little reluctance, takes the opportunity of the rebellion to punish the delinquents, to clear out the suspects, and to strengthen himself in the weakest places. Thus, to cause France to lose Milan the first time, it was enough for the Duke Ludovico to raise insurrections on the borders, but to cause him to lose it a second time, it was necessary to bring the whole world against him, and that his armies should be defeated and driven out of Italy, which followed from the causes above mentioned. Nevertheless, Milan was taken from France both the first and the second time. The general reasons for the first have been discussed. It remains to name those for the second, and to see the resources he had, and what anyone in his situation would have had, for maintaining himself more securely in his acquisition than did the King of France. And now, I say that those dominions which, when acquired, are added to an ancient state by him who acquires them, are either of the same country and language, or they are not. When they are, it is easier to hold them, especially when they have not been accustomed to self-government. And to hold them securely, it is enough to have destroyed the family of the prince who was ruling them. Because the two peoples, preserving in other things the old conditions, and not being unlike in customs, will live quietly together, as one has seen in Brittany, Burgundy, Gascony, and Normandy, which had been bound to France for so long a time. And, although there may be some difference in language, nevertheless, the customs are alike, and the people will easily be able to get on amongst themselves. He who has annexed them, if he wishes to hold them, has only to bear in mind two considerations.
So, Brittany was looking for a baby to rape it. She wanted to have a baby to rape. All y'all wanted to do that. That shit is so disgustingly disturbing. Wow.
most real helps would be that he who has acquired them should go and reside there. This would make his
It had to be over my dead body to do it. I'm sure, of course.
taken by him for holding that state. If he had not settled there,
I'm sure it did, baby.
if one is on the spot, disorders are seen as they spring up, and one can quickly remedy them. But if one is not at hand,
I just heard dead, baby.
and then one can no longer remedy them. Besides this,
We had dead, baby.
by your officials, the subjects are satisfied by prompt recourse to the prince. Thus, wishing to be good, they have more cause to love him, and wishing to be otherwise, to fear him. He who will attack that state from the outside must have the utmost caution. As long as the prince resides there, it can only be wrested from him with the greatest difficulty. The other, and better course, is to send colonies to one or two places, which may be as keys to that state. For it is necessary either to do this, or else to keep there a great number of cavalry and infantry. The prince does not spend much on colonies, for with little or no expense, he can send them out and keep them there. And he offends a minority only of the citizens from whom he takes lands and houses to give them to the new inhabitants. And those whom he offends, remaining poor and scattered, are never able to injure him, whilst the rest, being uninjured, are easily kept quiet, and at the same time are anxious not to err, for fear it should happen to them as it has to those who have been despoiled. In conclusion, I say that these colonies are not costly. They are more faithful. They injure less, and the injured, as has been said, being poor and scattered, cannot hurt. Upon this, one has to remark that men ought either to be well treated or crushed, because they can avenge themselves of lighter injuries, but more serious ones they cannot. Therefore, the injury that is to be done to a man ought to be of such a kind that one does not stand in fear of revenge. But in maintaining armed men there in place of colonies, one spends much more, having to consume on the garrison all the income from the state, so that the acquisition turns into a loss, and many more are exasperated because the whole state is injured. Through the shifting of the garrison up and down, all become acquainted with hardship, and all become hostile, and they are enemies who, whilst people on their own ground, are yet able to do hurt. For every reason, therefore, such guards are as useless as a colony is useful. Again, the prince who holds a country, differing in the above respects, ought to make himself the head and defender of his less powerful neighbours, and to weaken the more powerful amongst them, taking care that no foreigner as powerful as himself shall by any accident get a footing there. For it will always happen that such a one will be introduced by those who are discontented, either through excessive ambition or through fear, as one has seen already. The Romans were brought into Greece by the Aetolians, and in every other country where they obtained a footing, they were brought in by the inhabitants. And the usual course of affairs is that as soon as a powerful foreigner enters a country, all the subject states are drawn to him, moved by the hatred which they feel against the ruling power. So that, in respect to those subject states, he has not to take any trouble to gain them over to himself, for the whole of them quickly rally to the state which he has acquired there. He has only to take care that they do not get hold of too much power and too much authority, and then, with his own forces and with their goodwill, he can easily keep down the more powerful of them, so as to remain entirely master in the country. And he who does not properly manage this business will soon lose what he has acquired, and whilst he does hold it, he will have endless difficulties and troubles. The Romans, in the countries which they annexed, observed closely these measures. They sent colonies and maintained friendly relations with the minor powers without increasing their strength. They kept down the greater and did not allow any strong foreign power to gain authority. Greece appears to me sufficient for an example. The Achaeans and Aetolians were kept friendly by them. The kingdom of Macedonia was humbled, Antiochus was driven out. Yet the merits of the Achaeans and Aetolians never secured for them permission to increase their power. Nor did the persuasions of Philip ever induce the Romans to be his friends without first humbling him. Nor did the influence of Antiochus make them agree that he should retain any lordship over the country. Because the Romans did in these instances what all prudent princes ought to do, who have regard not only to present troubles but also future ones, for which they must prepare with every energy, because when foreseen, it is easy to remedy them. But if you wait until they approach, the medicine is no longer in time, because the malady has become incurable. For it happens in this, as the physicians say it happens in hectic fever, that in the beginning of the malady it is easy to cure, but difficult to detect. But in the course of time, not having been either detected or treated in the beginning, it becomes easy to detect, but difficult to cure. Thus it happens in affairs of state, for when the evils that arise have been foreseen, which it is only given to a wise man to see, they can be quickly redressed. But when, through not having been foreseen, they have been permitted to grow in a way that everyone can see them, there is no longer a remedy. Therefore, the Romans, foreseeing troubles, dealt with them at once, and even to avoid a war would not let them come to a head, for they knew that war is not to be avoided, but is only to be put off to the advantage of others. And moreover, they wished to fight with Philip and Antiochus in Greece, so as not to have to do it in Italy. But this they did not wish. Nor did that ever grieve them, which is whatever in mouths of the wise ones of our time, and it is enjoying the benefits of the time, but rather the benefits of their own valour and prudence. For time drives everything before it, and is able to bring with it good as well as evil, and evil as well as good. But let us turn to France, and inquire whether she has done any of the things mentioned. I will speak of Louis and not of Charles as the one whose conduct is the better to be observed, he having held possession of Italy for the longest period. And you will see that he has done the opposite to those things which ought to be done to retain a state composed of diverse elements. King Louis was brought into Italy by the ambition of the Venetians, who desired to obtain half the state of Lombardy by his intervention. I will not blame the course taken by the king, because, wishing to get a foothold in Italy, and having no friends there, seeing rather that every door was shut to him owing to the conduct of Charles, he was forced to accept those friendships which he could get, and he would have succeeded very quickly in his design if in other matters he had not made some mistakes. The king, however, having acquired Lombardy, regained at once the authority which Charles had lost. Genoa yielded, the Florentines became his friends. The Marquis of Mantua, the Duke of Ferrara, Bentivogli, my Lady of Forli, the Lords of Faenza, Pesaro of Rimini, Camerino, Marchesi, the Pisans, the Sienese, everybody made advances to him to become his friend. Then the Venetians realized the rashness of the course taken by them, which, in order that they might secure 2 towns in Lombardy, and make the king master of 2/3 of it. Let anyone now consider with what little difficulty the king could have maintained his position in Italy, had he observed the rules above laid down, and kept all his friends secure and protected. For, although they were numerous, they were both weak and timid. Some were afraid of the church, some of the Venetians, and thus they would always have been forced to stand in with him, and by their means he could easily have made himself secure against those who remained powerful.
You see the motherfuckers.
But he was also in Milan, and he did the contrary by assisting Pope Alexander to occupy the Romagna. It never occurred to him to weakening himself.
Trying to attack me in the car.
Those who throw himself into his lap, whilst he aggrandized the church by adding much temporal power and authority, thus giving it greater authority. And having committed this prime error, he was obliged to follow it up, so much so that, to put an end to the ambition of Alexander, and to prevent his becoming master of Tuscany, he was himself forced to go into Italy. And as if it were not enough to have aggrandized the church and deprived himself of friends, he, wishing to have the kingdom of Naples, divides it with the king of Spain. And where he was the prime arbiter in Italy, he takes an associate, so that the ambitions of that country and the malcontents of his own should have somewhere to shelter. And whereas he could have left in the kingdom his own pensioner as king, he drove him out, to put one there who was able to drive him, Louis, out in turn. The wish to acquire is, in truth, very natural and common, and men always do so when they can, and for this they will be praised, not blamed. But when they cannot do so, and yet wish to do so by any means, then there is folly and blame. Therefore, if France could have attacked Naples with her own forces, she ought to have done so. If she could not, then she ought not to have divided it. And if the partition which she made with the Venetians in Lombardy was justified by the excuse that by it she got a foothold in Italy, this other partition merited blame, for it had not the excuse of that necessity. Therefore, Louis made these 5 errors. He destroyed the minor powers. He increased the strength of one of the greater powers in Italy. He brought in a foreign power. He did not settle in the country. He did not send colonies. Which errors, had he lived, brought enough to injure him, had he not made a 6th, by taking away their dominions from the Venetians. Because, had he not aggrandized the church, nor brought Spain into Italy, it would have been very reasonable and necessary to humble them. But having first taken these steps, he would never have consented to their ruin, for they, being powerful, would always have kept off others from designs on Lombardy, to which the Venetians would never have consented, except to become masters themselves there. Also, because the others would not wish to take Lombardy from France in order to give it to the Venetians, and to run counter to both, they would not have had the courage. And if anyone should say, King Louis yielded the Romagna to Alexander, and the kingdom to Spain to avoid war, I answer for the reasons given above, that a blunder ought never to be perpetrated to avoid war, because it is not to be avoided, but is only deferred to your disadvantage. And if another should allege the pledge which the king had given to the Pope, that he would assist him in the enterprise in exchange for the dissolution of his marriage, and for the capture of war, to that I reply what I shall write later concerning the faith of princes, and how it ought to be kept. Thus, King Louis lost Lombardy by not having followed any of the conditions observed by those who have taken possession of countries and wish to retain them. Nor is there any miracle in this, but much that is reasonable and quite natural. And on these matters I spoke as naught with Rouen, when Valentino, as Cesare Borgia, the son of Pope Alexander was usually called, occupied the Romagna. And on Cardinal Rouen observing to me that the Italians did not understand war, I replied to him that the French did not understand statecraft, meaning that otherwise they would not have allowed the church to reach such greatness. And in fact, it has been seen that the greatness of the church and of Spain in Italy has been caused by France, and her ruin may be attributed to them. From this, a general rule is drawn which never, or rarely fails, that he who is the cause of another becoming powerful is ruined, because that predominancy has been brought about either by astuteness or else by force, and both are distrusted by him who has been raised to power. End of part 1. Part 2 of The Prince, by Niccolo Machiavelli, translated by W.K. Marriott. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Clive Cattle. Chapters 4 to 6. Chapter 4. Why the kingdom of Darius, conquered by Alexander, did not prevail against the successors of Alexander at his death. Considering the difficulties which men have had to hold to a newly acquired state, some might wonder how, seeing that Alexander the Great became the master of Asia in a few years, and died whilst it was scarcely settled, whence it might appear reasonable the whole empire would have rebelled. Nevertheless, his successors maintained themselves, and had to meet no other difficulty than that which arose among themselves from their own ambitions. I answer that the principalities of which one has record are found to be governed in two different ways, either by a prince with a body of servants who assist him to govern the kingdom as ministers by his favour and permission, or by a prince and barons who hold that dignity by antiquity of blood and not by the grace of the prince. Such barons have states and their own subjects who recognise them as lords and hold them in natural affection. Those states that are governed by a prince and his servants hold their prince in more consideration, because in all the country there is no one who is recognised as superior to him, and if they yield obedience to another, they do it as to a minister and official, and they do not bear him any particular affection. The examples of these two governments in our time are the Turk and the King of France. The entire monarchy of the Turk is governed by one lord, the others are his servants, and dividing his kingdom into sanjaks, he sends there different administrators, and shifts and changes them as he chooses. But the King of France is placed in the midst of an ancient body of lords, acknowledged by their own subjects and beloved by them. They have their own prerogatives, nor can the king take these away except at his peril. Therefore, he who considers both of these states will recognise great difficulties in seizing the states of the Turk, but once it is conquered, great ease in holding it. The causes of the difficulties in seizing the kingdom of the Turk are that the usurper cannot be called in by the princes of the kingdom, nor can he have to be assisted in his designs by the revolt of those whom the Lord has around him. This arises from the reasons given above. For his ministers, being all slaves and bondmen, can only be corrupted with great difficulty, and one can expect little advantage from them when they have been corrupted, as they cannot carry the people with them, for the reasons assigned. Hence, he who attacks the Turk must bear in mind that he will find him united, and he will have to rely more on his own strength than on the revolt of others. But if once the Turk has been conquered and routed in the field in such a way that he cannot replace his armies, there is nothing to fear but the family of this prince, and this being exterminated, there remains no one to fear, the others having no credit with the people. And as the conqueror did not rely on them before his victory, so he ought not to fear them after it. The contrary happens in kingdoms governed like that of France, because one can easily enter there by gaining over some baron of the kingdom, for one always finds malcontents and such as desire change. Such men, for the reasons given, can open the way into the state and render the victory easy. But if you wish to hold it afterwards, you meet with infinite difficulties, both from those who have assisted you and from those you have crushed. Nor is it enough for you to have exterminated the family of the prince, because the lords that remain make themselves the heads of fresh movements against you, and as you are unable to satisfy or exterminate them, that state is lost whenever time brings the opportunity. Now, if you will consider what was the nature of the government of Darius, you will find it similar to the kingdom of the Turk, and therefore it was only necessary for Alexander first to overthrow him in the field, and then to take the country from him. After which victory, Darius being killed, the states remained secure to Alexander for the above reasons, and if his successors had been united, they would have enjoyed it securely and at their ease, for there were no tumults raised in the kingdom except those they provoked themselves. But it is impossible to hold with such tranquillity states constituted like that of France. Hence arose those frequent rebellions against the Romans in Spain, France, and Greece, owing to many principalities there were in these states, of which, as long as the memory of them endured, the Romans always held an insecure possession. But with the power and long continuance of the empire, the memory of them passed away, and the Romans then became secure possessors. And when fighting afterwards amongst themselves, each one was able to attach to himself his own parts of the country, according to the authority he had assumed there. And the family of the former lord being exterminated, none other than the Romans were acknowledged. When these things are remembered, no one will marvel at the ease with which Alexander held the empire of Asia, or at the difficulties which others have had to keep
What you gonna eat?
such as Pyrrhus and many more.
Huh?
This is not occasioned by the little or abundance of ability of the conqueror,
You're right.
but by the wanted uniformity.
What you gonna eat?
Chapter 5. Concerning the way to govern cities or principalities which lived under their own laws before they were annexed. Whenever those states which have been acquired as stated have been accustomed to live under their own laws and in freedom, there are three courses for those who wish to hold them. The first is to ruin them. The next is to reside there in person. The third is to permit them to live under their own laws, drawing tribute and establishing within it an oligarchy which will keep it friendly to you. And because such a government, being created by the prince, knows that it cannot stand without his friendship and interest, and does its utmost to support him. And therefore, he who would keep the city accustomed to freedom will hold it more easily by the means of its own citizens than in any other way. There are, for example, the Spartans and the Romans. The Spartans held Athens and Thebes, establishing there an oligarchy. Nevertheless, they lost them. The Romans, in order to hold Capua, Carthage, and Numantia, dismantled them and did not lose them. They wished to hold Greece as the Spartans held it, making it free and creating its laws, and did not succeed. So, to hold it, they were compelled to dismantle many cities in the country, for in truth, there is no safe way to retain them otherwise than by ruining them. And he who becomes master of a city accustomed to freedom, and does not destroy it, may expect to be destroyed by it. For in rebellion, it has always the watchword of liberty, and its ancient privileges as a rallying point, which neither time or benefits will ever cause it to forget. And whatever you may do or provide against, they never forget that name or their privileges, unless they are disunited or dispersed. But at every chance they immediately rally to them, as Pisa, after 100 years she had been held in bondage by the Florentines. But when cities or countries are accustomed to live under a prince, and his family is exterminated. They, being on one hand accustomed to obey, and on the other hand not having the old prince, cannot agree in making one from amongst themselves, and they do not know how to govern themselves. For this reason, they are very slow to take up arms, and a prince can gain them to himself, and secure them much more easily. But in republics, there is more vitality, greater hatred, and more desire for vengeance, which will never permit them to allow the memory of their former liberty to rest. So that the safest way is to destroy them, or to reside there. Chapter 6. Concerning new principalities which are acquired by one's own arms and ability. Let no one be surprised if in speaking of entirely new principalities, as I shall do, I use the highest examples both of prince and of state. Because men, walking almost always in paths beaten by others, and following by imitation their deeds, are yet unable to keep entirely to the ways of others, or attend to the power of those they imitate. A wise man ought always to follow paths beaten by great men, and to imitate those who have been supreme, so that his ability does not equal theirs, at least it will savour of it. Let him act like the clever archers, who, designing to hit a mark which yet appears too far distant, and know the limits to which the strength of their bow attains, take aim much higher than the mark, not to reach by their strength or arrow to so great a height, but to be able with the aid of so high an aim to hit the mark they wish to reach. I say, therefore, that in entirely new principalities where there is a new prince, more or less difficulty is found in keeping them, according as there is more or less ability in him who has acquired the state. Now, as the fact of becoming a prince from a private station presupposes either ability or fortune, it is clear that one or other of these things will mitigate in some degree many difficulties. Nevertheless, he who has relied least on fortune is established as strongest. Further, it facilitates matters when the prince, having no other state, is compelled to reside there in person. But to come to those who, by their own ability and not through fortune, have risen to be princes, I say that Moses, Cyrus, Romulus, Theseus, and such like are the most excellent examples. And although one may not discuss Moses, he having been their executor and of God, yet he ought to be admired, if only for that favour which made him worthy to speak with God. But in considering Cyrus and others who have acquired or founded kingdoms, all will be found admirable. And if their particular deeds and conduct should be considered, they will not be found inferior to those of Moses, although he has so great a preceptor. And in examining their actions and lives, one cannot see that they owe anything to fortune beyond opportunity, which brought them the material to mold into the form which seemed best to them. Without that opportunity, their powers of mind would have been extinguished, and without those powers, the opportunity would have come in vain. It was necessary, therefore, to Moses that he should find the people of Israel in Egypt enslaved and oppressed by the Egyptians, in order that they should be disposed to follow him, so as to be delivered out of bondage. It was necessary that Romulus should not remain in number, and that he should be abandoned at his birth, in order that he should become king of Rome, founder of the fatherland.
You text him
It
back.
was necessary that Cyrus should find the Persians discontented with the government of the Medes, and the Medes sought to defend it through their long peace. Theseus could not have shown his ability had he not found the Athenians dispersed. These opportunities, therefore, made those men fortunate, and their high ability enabled them to recognize the opportunity whereby their country was ennobled and made famous. Those who by valorous ways become princes, like these men, acquire principality with difficulty, but they keep it with ease. The difficulties they have in acquiring it arise in part from the new rules and methods which they are forced to introduce to establish their government and security. And it ought to be remembered that there is nothing more difficult to take in hand, more perilous to conduct, or more uncertain in its success, than to take the lead in the introduction of a new order of things. Because the innovator has for enemies all those who have done well under the old conditions, and lukewarm defenders of those who may do well under the new. This coolness arises partly from fear of the opponents, who have the laws on their side, and partly from the incredulity of men, who do not really believe in new things until they have had long experience of them. And thus it happens that whenever those who are hostile have the opportunity to attack, they do it like partisans, whilst the others defend lukewarmly, in such a wise that the prince is endangered along with them. It is necessary, therefore, if we desire to discuss this matter thoroughly, to inquire whether these innovators can rely on themselves, or have to depend on others. That is to say, whether to consummate their enterprise, have they to use prayers, or can they use force? In the first instance, they always succeed badly, and never covers anything. But when they can rely on themselves and use force, then they are really endangered. Hence it is that all armed prophets are conquered, and the unarmed ones have been destroyed. Besides the reasons mentioned, the nature of the people is variable, and whilst it is easy to persuade them, it is difficult to fix them in that persuasion, and thus it is necessary to take such measures that, when they believe no longer, it may be possible to make them believe by force. If Moses, Cyrus, Theseus, and Romulus had been unarmed, they could not have enforced their constitutions for long. That happened in our time to Fra Girolamo Savonarola, who was ruined with his new order of things, immediately the multitude believed in him no longer, and he had no means of keeping
Yeah, open the door.
or of making the unbelievers to believe. And therefore, such as these have great difficulties in consummating their enterprise, and all their dangers are only ascent. Yet for ability, who will overcome? But when these are overcome, and those who end within their success are exterminated, all begin to be respected, and will continue afterwards, powerful, secure, honoured, and happy. To these great examples, I wish to learn less alone. So I compare some examples to them, which it suffice me for all that I can. It is Pyrrho, the Syracusan. This man rose from a high station to be prince of Syracuse, nor did he either have anything to forecast with opportunity. For the Syracusans, being oppressed, chose him for a captain. Afterwards, he was removed by being made prince. He was of so great ability, that even as a private citizen, one who writes them says he ought to nothing but a king to be a king. soldiers and allies, and such relations exalt any levels. Thus, whilst he included strongly acquiring, he had but little in keeping. End of part 2. Part 3 of The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli, translated by W.K. Magritte. This periodic recording is in the public domain. Recording by Clive Catterall. Chapters 7 and 8. Chapter 7. Concerning the principalities which are acquired either by the arms of others or by good fortune. Those who solely by good fortune become princes from being private citizens have little trouble in rising, but much in keeping atop. They have not any difficulties on the way up because they fly, but they have many when they reach the summit. Such are those to whom some state is given either for money or by the favour of him who bestows it, as happens to many in Greece in the cities of Ionia and of the Hellespont, where princes were made by Darius in order that they might hold the cities both for his security and his glory. As also those emperors who, by the corruption of the soldiers, from being citizens came to empire. Such stand simply elevated upon the goodwill and the fortune of him who has elevated them, two most inconstant and unstable things. Neither have they the knowledge requisite for the position, because unless they're men of great worth and ability, it is not reasonable to expect that they should know how to command, having always lived in a private condition. Besides, they cannot hold it, because they have not forces which they can keep friendly and faithful. States that rise unexpectedly that, like all other things in nature which are born and grow rapidly, cannot leave their foundations and correspondences fixed in such a way that the first storm will not overthrow them. Unless, as it said, those who unexpectedly become princes are men of so much ability that they know they have to be prepared at once to hold that which fortune has thrown into their laps, and that those foundations which others have laid before they became princes, they must lay afterwards. Concerning these two methods of rising to be a prince, by ability or fortune, I wish to produce two examples within our own recollection, and these are Francesco Sforza and Cesare Borgia. Francesco, by proper means and with great ability, from being a private person, rose to be Duke of Milan, and that which he had acquired with 1,000 anxieties, he kept with little trouble. On the other hand, Cesare Borgia, called by people Duke Valentino, acquired his estate during the ascendancy of his father. But in its decline, he lost it, notwithstanding that he had taken every measure, and all that ought to be done by a wise and able man, to fix firmly his roots in estates which the arms and fortunes of others have bestowed on him. Because, as is stated above, he who has not first laid his foundations may be able with great difficulty to lay them afterwards, but then for them both troubles the architect and danger to the building. If, therefore, all the steps taken by the Duke be considered, it will be seen that he laid solid foundations for his future power. And I do not consider it superfluous to discuss them, because I do not know what better precepts give an inference than the example of his actions. And if his dispositions were of no avail, that was not his fault, but the extraordinary and extreme malignity of fortune. Alexander VI, in wishing to aggrandize the Duke, his son, had many immediate and prospective difficulties. Firstly, he did not see his way to make him master of any state that was not a state of the church. And if he was willing to rob the church, he knew the Duke of Milan and the Venetians would not consent, because fines and revenue were already under the protection of the Venetians. And besides this, he saw the arms of Italy, especially those by which he would use society, in hands that he had present to develop, namely the Orsini and Cornesi and the following. It behoved him, therefore, to upset the state of affairs and embroil the powers, so to make himself securely master out of their states. This was easy for him to do, because he found the Venetians, who, by other reasons, inclined to bring back the French into Italy. He would not only not oppose this, but he would render it more easy by dissolving the former marriage of King Louis. Therefore, the king came into the existence of the Venetians and the consent of Alexander. He was also aware that the Pope had sold his pocket for the attempt on the Romagna, which yielded to him the reputation of the king. The Duke, therefore, having acquired the Romagna and beaten the Cornesi, while wishing to hold it out and to advance further, was hindered by two things. The one, his forces did not appear loyal to him. The other, the goodwill of France. That is to say, he feared that the forces of the Orsini, which he was using, would not stand to him. That not only might they hinder him from winning war, but might themselves seize what he had won, and that the king might also do the same. Of the Orsini, he had a warning when, after taking Faenza and attacking Bologna, he saw them go very unwillingly to that attack. And as to the king, he learned in his mind when he himself, after taking the Duchy of Urbino, attacked Tuscany, the Duke made him desist from that undertaking. Hence, the Duke decided to depend no more on the arms of the luck of others. For the first thing, he weakened the Orsini and Cornesi parties in Rome, by laying to himself all their adherents and gentlemen, and him his gentlemen, giving them good pay and according to the rank, honouring them with office to command, in such a way that in a few months all attachment to the factions was destroyed, and turned entirely to the Duke. After this, he awaited an opportunity to crush the Orsini, having scattered the adherents of the Colonna House. This came to him soon, and he used it well, for the Orsini, receiving at length the aggrandizement of the Duke and the Church was put into, called a meeting with the Magian in Perugia. From this sprung the rebellion of Urbino, the achievements of Romagna, and the endless dangers to the Duke, all of which he overcame with the help of the French. Having restored his authority, not only to risk and trusting either to the French or other outside forces, he had requested in Wales, and he so well had to conceal his mind that, by the mediation of Signor Pagolo, the whom the Duke did not fail to secure with all kinds of attention, giving him money,
Like,
power, and
comment, and
privileges,
subscribe.
the Orsini were reconciled, so that their
Please and
simplicity
thank
brought them
you.
into his power at Sinigalia. Having exterminated the leaders and turned Byzance into his friends, the Duke laid sufficiently good foundations to his power, having all the Romagna and the Duchy of Urbino, and the people now beginning to appreciate their prosperity, he gained them all over to himself. And as this point is worthy of notice, and to be imitated by others, I'm not willing to leave it out. When the Duke occupied the Romagna, he found it under the rule of weak masters, who rather plundered their subjects than ruled them, and gave them more cause for disunion than for union, so that the country was full of robbery, quarrels, and every kind of violence. And so, wishing to bring back peace and obedience to authority, he considered it necessary to give it a good governor. Thereupon, he promoted Monsieur Ramiro d'Orco, a swift and cruel man, to whom he gave the fullest power. This man, in a short time, restored peace and unity with the greatest success. Afterwards, the Duke considered that it was not advisable to confer such excessive authority, for he had no doubt but that he would become odious. So he set up a court of judgment in the country, under a most excellent precedent, wherein all cities had their advocates. And because he knew that the past severity had caused some hatred against himself, so to clear himself in the minds of the people, and gain them entirely to himself, he desired to show that if any cruelty had been practiced, it had not originated with him, but in the natural sternness of the minister. Under this pretense, he took Ramiro, and one morning caused him to be executed, and left on the Piazza of Cesena, with the block and the bloody knife at his side. The barbarity of this spectacle caused the people to be at once satisfied and dismayed. But let us return whence we started. I said that the Duke, finding himself now sufficiently powerful and partly secure from immediate dangers, having armed himself in his own way, and having in a great measure crushed those forces in his vicinity that could injure him who wished to proceed with his conquest, had next to consider France, for he knew that the king, who too late was aware of his mistake, would not support him. And from this time he began to seek new alliances, and to take place with France in the expedition which she was making towards the kingdom of Naples, against the Spaniards who were besieging it. It was his intention to secure himself against them, and this he would have quickly accomplished had Alexander lived. Such was his line of action as to present affairs. But as to the future, he had to fear, in the first place, that a new successor to the church might not be friendly to him, and might seek to take from him that which Alexander had given him. So he decided to act in 4 ways. Firstly, by exterminating the families of those lords whom he had despoiled, so as to take out that pretext from the Pope. Secondly, by winning to himself all the gentlemen of Rome, so as to be able to curb the Pope with their aid, as has been observed. Thirdly, by converting the college in order to himself. Fourthly, by acquiring so much power before the Pope should die, that he could, by his own measures, resist the first shock. Of these 4 things, at the death of Alexander, he had accomplished 3, for he had killed as many of his possessed lords as he could lay hands on, and few had escaped. He had won over the Roman gentlemen, and he had the most numerous party in the college. And as to any fresh acquisition, he intended to become master of Tuscany, for he already possessed Perugia and Piombino, and Pisa was under his protection. And as he had no longer to study France, for the French were already driven out of the kingdom of Naples by the Spaniards, and in this way both were compelled to buy his goodwill, he pounced down upon Pisa. After this, Lucca and Siena yielded at once, partly through hatred, and partly through fear of the Florentines. And the Florentines would have had no remedy had he continued to prosper as he was prospering the year that Alexander died, for he had acquired so much power and reputation that he would have stood by himself, and no longer have depended on the luck and the forces of others, but solely on his own power and ability. But Alexander died 5 years after he had first drawn the sword. He left the Duke with the state of Romagna alone consolidated, with the rest in the air between 2 most powerful hostile armies and sick unto death. Yet there were in the Duke such boldness and ability, and he knew so well how men are to be won or lost, and so firm were the foundations which, in so short a time, he had laid, that if he had not had those armies on his back, or if he had been in good health, he would have overcome all difficulties. And it is seen that his foundations were good, for the Romagna awaited him for more than a month. In Rome, although not half alive, he remained secure. And whilst the Baglioni, the Vitelli, and the Orsini might come to Rome, they could not effect anything against him. If he could not have made Pope him whom he wished, at least the one whom he did not wish would not have been elected. But if he had been in sound health at the death of Alexander, everything would have been different to him. On the day that Julius II was elected, he told me that he had thought of everything that might occur at the death of his father, and had provided a remedy for all, except that he had never anticipated that when the death did happen, he himself would be on the point to die. When all the actions of the Duke are recalled, I do not know how to blame him, but rather, it appears to me, as I have said, that I ought to offer him for imitation by all those who by the fortune or the arms of others are raised to government. Because he, having a lofty spirit and far-reaching aims, could not have regulated his conduct otherwise, and only the shortness of the life of Alexander and his own sickness frustrated his designs. Therefore, he who considers it necessary to secure himself in his new principality, to win friends, to overcome either by force or fraud, to make himself beloved and feared by the people, to be followed and revered by the soldiers, to exterminate those who have power or reason to hurt him, to change the old order of things for new, to be severe and gracious, magnanimous and liberal, to destroy a disloyal soldiery and create new, To maintain friendship with kings and princes in such a way that they must help him with zeal and defend with caution. Cannot find a more lively example than the actions of this man. Only
They trying to do something, attack me or something. Let me pee, man. of the Freeze Universal. Love for the rock fashion style, you come to the man to love and so love for the Freeze Universal. Love for the rock fashion style, you come to the man as well and so love for the Freeze Universal. Love for the rock fashion style, you come to the man to love and so love for the Freeze Universal. Love for the rock fashion style, you come as well and so love for the Freeze Universal. Now, all people wishing to attack me to kill themselves now as well and so love for the Freeze Universal. Starting August 2nd, the outfits very freezing. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. My baby daddy around here somewhere.
Right.
I can feel him.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Somebody wanna tell me something. But I done told him about doing that shit. He needs to tell me who he is. I'm tired of him doing that. And I don't trust his ass either. Never did. It's always something. They playing on my phone. I'm finna go to sleep. I meant to go to sleep by 12. What time it is? Get up by 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Long as it's before that time. Everything will be aligned. So bitch, stop trying. They wanna do dumb shit, but these bitches can't stop dumb. This nigga think he got several bitches and shit. Sit here like he gotta do nothing but go to a bitch and get they shit and do some sexual shit to them bitch. This bitch is a creep. I have to end him. He's a predator. He prey on women all day. He sit there and look for them online. All type of shit. Wondering which one of them will let him rape the damn kids. I ain't lying. He needs some help. Hmm?
Somebody said it is.
Mm. Time 3 minutes.